Hello, arcade gamers, and welcome back to BiggyD's Arcade. Today we're going to do my 27th Chill and Chat, and I've got a lot lined up early on with iiRcade. We had some pretty big news come out of iiRcade this week, and I definitely want to focus a lot of attention early on in this stream on them, and making sure that they deserve it because they put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this company, and they deserve to be recognized for what they've accomplished. Even though that what I'm going to discuss here is negative news or bad news that this has happened, we can honor them as the company they were and what they were able to accomplish while they were in business. And so we had a live stream. This live stream was scheduled for Friday the 16th, so just a couple of days ago. And it was iiRcade Live. And they had posted this early on, basically just letting everyone know we're having a live stream, but didn't really give us any detail on what we would be seeing or hearing. Well, I then, and I did want to, normally I'll start out, guys, with some saying hi to everyone in the chat, and I totally skipped that tonight. I apologize, guys. We just have like a really big, huge chat live stream going on right now on Mystery Encoder as a guest on Kong's or Us channel. I was watching that up until I started here, so I know many others are as well. But it looks like Nix has joined us, so I did want to say hi to Nix. Thank you for joining. You are the one and only person in the chat on this live stream this evening. So I do appreciate you joining and being here. So I wanted to recognize you for saying hey. But yeah, let's get into iiRcade and what happened and where we're at. So iiRcade live stream was posted early on in the day. We knew this was coming, but we didn't have any detail on what we would be seeing. Well, we learned in this live stream that iiRcade is in fact going out of business. They are no longer going to be in business. They're closing their doors, and we are no longer going to be able to purchase games from iiRcade store. This is it. This is the end of the road for iiRcade. Nick said it was never about what play games on. It's about the games and the gamers. And that's so true. Nick's is the iiRcade community will live on. The people that enjoyed these games will continue to be friends, and we'll find other ways to play different types of games. They may not be iiRcade games, but the community and the people that back this brand and this company will live on well after the business closed. So it is bad news. It's negative news that we're no longer going to be able to purchase games and see new games come to this arcade console. But let's kind of look at what the live stream was about and what they were showing. So mainly what they focused this stream on early on was recognizing iiRcade for what it was, its history, where they came from, the beginning of what started this whole brand and this company, which was that old white iiRcade, then progressing to the Gen 1, and then the skinned Gen 1s, and then the gold cabinet. So they wanted to show what's happened in these 4 or 5 years they've been in business. And that's what they were showing off in the live stream. And they spent a lot of the time, an hour, hour and a half, just showing off different promotional videos and looking back and reminiscing about this brand and this company. Andy's Game Rooms joined us. Good to see you, Andy. He says, howdy, y'all. He's made it. Good to see you, Andy. And Nix, he says the iiRcade will live on with its HDMI out. And that's definitely 100% true. I mean, we've got an HDMI out where we can live stream this iiRcade console. There's a lot that we're going to be able to do with this thing long after the company closes its doors. And that was kind of what they went into next. So they reminisced on iiRcade. They looked back at where they've come, and even though it's ending, they wanted to see what all they've accomplished. Well, then they got into Glen. So they're kind of handing the keys over to Glen at this point. The company's closed, but they want the community, they want the people to continue to be able to enjoy this iiRcade console any way that they can, and they know Glen is the right person for that. So they hand over everything pretty much to him. They have him on the show. He shows off his new control panel, which is also going to have the ability for us to have a USB input, so we can play Operation Wolf, Operation Thunderbolt. We can have better controls. Now, one of the downside we learned during this live stream was a lot of the controls that are on this control panel aren't necessarily going to work with the games that we have available. So your trackball, your spinners, all those things really aren't going to be utilized on many of the games in the library. I did hear them say that there are Space Harrier will utilize the trackball. So there is certain games that we can use these controls on, but right now, as of today, it's not really going to have much impact on the current library of games. But if you are looking to play light gun games and you are on a Gen 1 or you're on a Retro Mania cabinet like myself, I'm going to be able to purchase this and instantly play Operation Wolf or Operation Thunderbolt. So it does have a lot of interest to me. Now, one of the things that he really kind of surprised everyone with was the fact that we are going to be able to eventually, later on down the road, hook up an SBC. So this is a single board computer, just like a Raspberry Pi, up to the iArcade. And we're going to be able to switch between the iArcade stock and its library of games that we've already downloaded to this Raspberry Pi or this single board computer. And then we can open it up to play any games that we want. So we'd be able to play RetroPie, or we would be able to play many others, Batocera. And so this really opens up the console in the arcade to a long future ahead of fun and games and community and having fun with this. So I think that was a really good thing that they were able to do, was to finish this company off and this live stream off, handing it over to someone else entirely. Even though they're not going to have any involvement, they're pretty much handing this all over to him, to Glen. So I'm happy with the the ending and where we're finally going to see an end of iArcade, but it's going to live on and we're going to continue to enjoy it. Arcade Talk and Star Wars Review, he's saying, hi everyone, good to see you, Arcade Talk, glad you made it. And Made in Canada, he's saying hey to Nix, to Andy, to TM, and to me, BiggyD. Good to see you, Made in Canada, glad you've made it. So we're just talking about iArcade in the live stream, what happened in the live stream, where they were basically showing off the past of this company, where they've come from, what they've accomplished, and then handing this company essentially, or what's left of it, over to Glen without the actual name iArcade. So let's take a look at what we have in store, or we have that we can anticipate or look forward to here in the next few months. And that's going to be this control panel. So if you guys go to Glen's Retro Show YouTube channel, he's got this video posted which shows off this control panel. And now there's some things that I need to be critical of with this control panel, because I've actually not pre-ordered it yet. It's about $170. You're going to have to pay shipping, and he has to sell 500 of these in order to produce them. So there's a few things that I'm considering, I'm thinking about, that I wanted to discuss on this live stream, kind of throw it out there for you guys so I can get your comments on what you think and what you're planning with this. So we're looking at this video, right? And it shows him playing Operation Wolf or Operation Thunderbolt using his boomstick, which is his new send-in light gun. And then he shows off the control panel and some close-ups. However, these are rendered images. And then the one that we see him shooting on right here in this video is not actually the final product. The reason that I know that is that it doesn't have the USB input on the front. So the end product will have a USB input on the front. It was very difficult for me to get this answer, but I was able to get it through the chats during live streams on Friday. But evidently, there is what we call a J panel on the Arcade 1-Up that's going to come with this control panel that we can put and slide in there under the game deck. And that's going to already have the hole for the USB input. So we actually haven't seen the final product yet. If you watch this product video on his website, if you see the live streams, everything we've seen to date, we have not seen the actual final product of this control panel. So essentially, he's wanting to sell 500 of these, but he's having to come up with all this money first in order to really, I guess, give us this final product. Maybe potentially he'll give us something to look at that is finalized and what we would actually be getting before then, but we haven't seen it yet. So let's take a look at the website. I wanted to dig a little deeper and see maybe can I get answers to questions? Can I get a look at the final product, what we're going to be purchasing? And when I look on the website, I can't find anything there either. We can see they've added the USB input in that J panel there for our Gen 1 cabinets. But again, this is just a render. This is not an actual iArcade cabinet. So we still haven't seen what we're getting. But we do know we're getting the volcano buttons. We're getting upgraded buttons and sticks. We are getting the trackball as well as the USB input. So those are the things we do know. It's $169. It does have shipping, and I believe I heard the shipping is around $25. I haven't gone into pre-order to calculate what the shipping is, but I believe they said $25. So let's see what everyone else has to say about this. I do want to say, though, I'm holding off. I need to see really a final product or at least get more questions answered and not have to continue to try to find answers to these questions on my own. I would like to just see them on the website, which we still don't see. So it says here, seamlessly capability with both standard and gold edition iArcade cabinets. A sleek GRS surface that can be customized with high quality art coverings. We don't have any art coverings yet. An adjustable GRS light up LED trackball for precision gameplay. 2 dynamic GRS spinners. 2 robust GRS industrial grade arcade joysticks. 7 ultra responsive GRS volcano buttons. 2 GRS TOS 4-way, 8-way joysticks. This is basically 2 to 4-way to 8-way. 2 external USB ports, an included USB hub with power adapter, and easily upgradable with a wide variety or wide range of accessories from GRS products. So that's all we know to this point. I had to learn that we're getting an extra panel, which is also included in here, but it's not on the website. It's not in the videos. So let's see what everyone else has to say. Nick says Glen's deck will change the game, the ability to play Donkey Kong, House of the Dead, etc. with the single board computer. And Nick says, call it the iiRcade game cabinet. And Arcade Talk and Star Wars Reviews is just saying hi to Nick's. Nick's is pre-ordered. I know many other people have pre-ordered as well. I'm very close to pre-ordering. I just want to get a little more reassurance on some of these things, some of these parts, what we're getting, and I want to actually see what I'm buying. I'm not a pre-order person, but if they convince me enough, I'll do it, and I haven't been convinced enough yet. Nick says he thinks they'll hit the 500 easy. I hope so, and I hope Glen comes out and he tells everyone immediately, hey, I've got the 500 that I needed, so people aren't waiting around. Andy's Game Room is just saying hi to Made in China. Good to see you guys here. Also, Arcade Talk says the gate switch comes with it too. Yes, I do think the gate switch is a very good feature. He was mentioning if you're playing Burger Time, it is best to have the 4-way. And I have Burger Time on my modded Arcade 1-Up cabinet. It has an 8-way. So maybe Burger Time, the way to play it is on the iArcade with this control panel. So there's so many good things that are going to come from this control panel, and it should obviously be worth $170 plus shipping. It should be. But again, it's hard for me to get convinced and to purchase things, especially to pre-order, but I'll let you guys know when I pre-order and when I do it. I'm very close to doing it. And I think just seeing what it is, the final product, will be enough. Now, what do I think about this control panel? And this was just a quick slide I wanted to bring up on what I think about what I've seen so far. And I think it's a quality design. I think the way that it is built and the way it looks and the way it fits in just perfectly is quality. And it should just add to the quality we already have with the iArcade cabinet. Now, it's a good price as well. I think he wanted to get the price as low as he could, probably shooting for 150. He probably ended up at the 170 because he's just got to pay his guys. And this is like bottom dollar. This is the least amount he could do it for. So I think 170 is a good price. It's not a great price, but it's good. And it does have the ability, and what I like is adding a USB, because I obviously have the Gen 1 cabinet, not the gold cabinet, and I want to play Operation Wolf and I want to play Operation Thunderbolt the way it was meant to be played on the iArcade. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that, authentic experience, the way it was meant to be played, was using this deck. So that's probably the biggest selling point for me, is the fact that we're getting the USB input. So it looked like Tony C just said Kongs Are Us raid. If he actually sent everyone over to my channel, I greatly appreciate that. That would be really cool. Or if it's just people joining that were watching Kongs Are Us and he's ending, I really appreciate you guys joining. But I do like Kongs Are Us. I was watching his up until the very end, right before I started the stream, because it was so interesting what Mystery Encoder was saying and what he was telling us. It was just really big news. Brooklyn Menace has joined us. I've got some information on Brooklyn Menace in this live stream, so I'm glad he made it. Happy Sunday to you. Also, happy Father's Day to everyone out there. If you guys are fathers, definitely want to say happy Father's Day. I personally don't have any kids. Maybe soon I will, and I'll be able to experience or have my first Father's Day. But I did give my dad a call back in Dallas and talk to him. He's in the pool with my sister at their house, having a good time, drinking a beer, enjoying his Father's Day. So happy Father's Day, guys. Steps Gaming saying, hey, good to see you, Steps Gaming. Glad you made it, and you're here as well. We're just getting into this control panel. I started off basically talking about the iArcade going out of business, what the live stream was about, my reaction to the live stream, and now I'm discussing the control panel, because they kind of handed this company, or what's left of this company, to Glen, and he's going to kind of take it over from here. And these are the things I like: the quality design, the good price, and the ability to have USB and play the light gun games the way they were meant to be played on the iArcade. Now, what do I want to see? So these are the things that are still keeping me on the fence, why I'm not purchasing the control panel, or why I haven't pre-ordered. Not that I wouldn't do it next week, but why I haven't done it yet. And number one, what I want to see is, I want to see the final design. And I know I've harped on this a lot already early on in the live stream, but final design is very important for me. I don't want to pre-order a prototype or something that's not, what I'm actually getting. And we haven't seen what I'm actually getting yet. We've got a lot of chats coming through now. Papa Brad's Gaming says, all is well in Wooville. And Mike Hawkhurt says, it's an ill-advised raid. And Tony C says, Zohar found Run and Gun 2 will run on the iArcade and flipped. Yeah, so I thought it was funny because I saw Zohar in the chat when Mystery Encoder was showing off these games like Metal Slug, and knowing that we're going to be able to sideload all these games onto it. And he's probably regretting selling his iArcade, because he had one. And if he would have just kept it and stuck with it, he would have had an easily moddable arcade cabinet. Brooklyn Menace says the future is looking awesome for iArcade. It really is. Even though it's not iArcade as a company, it's still iArcade, and it's still going to continue. Papa Brad's Gaming says the power is about to be unlocked with multiple options. Yeah, there's so much going on right now and being released and being announced. A lot of it was we heard tonight. We're going to hear more on Wednesday, and this will continue. So Beach Native 78 says, hey, BiggyD's Arcade. I hope you had a great or do have a great stream. He wishes he could stay up and watch, but he has work early in the AM. He'll have to catch the replay. And I know many out there on the East Coast or Central even, it's already getting late for you guys. And a lot of people have work on Monday. I'm lucky. I get off tomorrow. I work for a company that has a lot of holidays, luckily, and it's Juneteenth. So I'm going to have tomorrow off, and I'm going to actually get some content created for the channel tomorrow. I'm going to travel to an arcade in the Phoenix area, and I'm going to try to do what PD7, our guest last week, does. And I'm going to do a just like a video blogging experience at this arcade, and hopefully get permission from the owner to do it like early on in the day at like 10 a.m. when they open before it gets busy. But I'm looking forward to that. So back to what we're talking about. What do I want to see? I want to see a final design. I also want to see more games that utilize the controls. So we learned that we're not going to be able to play all the iArcade games the way they're meant to be played with the trackball or the spinners, because these games aren't, or the company doesn't exist anymore. So they can't program or reprogram these games for this control panel. So unfortunately, many of the games aren't going to utilize the controls, but that's okay. That's coming on later down the line, but that's something I do want to see. Now, also another thing I want to see is this ability to switch to the SPC or SBC single board computer and be able to see this in action, where I can like essentially take my Raspberry Pi with RetroPie on it, plug it into this, and be able to switch between that and the iArcade. If I could do that, I could just get rid of this Arcade 1-Up, this Marvel Superheroes, take the Raspberry Pi I've already created out of that, put it in my iArcade, and then that gives me room for another cabinet. So I want to see this. I'm really interested in this ability to switch to this second single board computer. Papa Brad's Gaming says gamers are going to win with this. And Nick's is saying he's off all week. So he gets the whole week off. We're going to see a lot of live streams from him. Lots of games. Papa Brad's Gaming is talking about how Goofy Foot. Oh, I missed his comment. He says Frankenstein. our monster is alive. Alive, laughing out loud. We've got so much coming. Tony C says he works for the municipal government, so he's off tomorrow. And I kind of work for the government. I'm like a nonprofit company is what I work for. But we are ran off of government money. So I get all the government holidays or bank holidays. And then Brooklyn Menace says, let the games continue. And Mike Hawkert says, barring a super big licensing deal, which wasn't really practical, the iArcade is getting unlocked. Like this would probably want, we always knew, and would be the end game with iArcades. And yeah, we've all been talking about this. You bring up a really good point, Mike. We've been talking about this for a long time, is when's the end going to be? And if there is an end, are we going to be able to sideload games? And yes, we are going to be able to do that. And we saw that tonight in action on Kongs R Us channel. Papa Brad's Gaming, he says, I love walk and talks. So much more interesting to watch. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting outside tomorrow and just doing this walk and talk and showing you guys the Phoenix area. We have so many arcades in this area, and you may have seen them on some of the other arcade content creators, you know, like Retro Ralph or P-Dubs. You know, all these other content creators in the Phoenix area have showcased probably a lot of these arcades in the past, but they're new to me because I just moved here in the last year. So I'm looking forward to showing them off. So my next slide here was going to be about Mystery Encoder, and it just so happened that we saw Mystery Encoder on the live stream tonight. But I had already had him in my head, in my notes that I was making yesterday, because I wanted to mention him. I've been seeing him in the chat. I saw him on the chat during the iArcade live stream. I saw him later on, I think, during Brooklyn's Friday night iArcade live stream. And he's talking about the ability to keep the leaderboards going, the ability to sideload games onto the iArcade, and then all these other possibilities that are coming on later on down the line. And so I wanted to mention him, but also it's convenient now because I was watching the live stream and we saw Metal Slug can be side loaded onto the iArcade. Now it does take modding the iArcade, which is going to be available to us on Wednesday. But at that point, we can essentially go to an iArcade store or an alternative iArcade store and download Metal Slug, which was a game that was going to release on the iArcade but never did. And it sounds like there may or may not be other games like that we can now sideload as well. And this is coming up next week. And then we have the ability later on to be able to add pretty much any game we want. And then all kinds of new UIs and all kinds of crazy, insane modding, stuff that we're just really digging and really loving and really want to get our hands into is, modding these cabinets. And I can't wait for all this. So there's going to be so much, many I think out there wanted iArcade to end, but iArcade's going to continue to be talked about for years until these cabinets eventually crumble and fall apart because they're just so old. We're still going to be modding these things and using them. And that's not even to mention the collector's value these things are going to have as well. Certain cabinet designs, certain ones may become collectors, and these boards may be very sought after. So there's all kinds of stuff in the future in the works that we're going to be discussing far into the future with iArcade. Nick says Glen's solution is better. That's true. We got to weigh. Are we going to do Glen's solution with switching over? Or are we going to just soft mod these things and put all this on our iArcade? And I'm a little reluctant to do that too. On Wednesday, do I really want to mod my iArcade on Wednesday and risk it completely crapping out on me and bricking it and not having any alternatives? I don't really want to do that either. I still haven't done the pinner mod on my Attack from Mars. And that's because I don't like the whole soft mod idea and the potential, especially if the company's out of business, not being able to get a replacement. Brooklyn Menace, he says, yes, he showed up a few times during my show. And I remember you mentioning, you said it's going to be the Wild West on Friday with Mystery Encoder and what's going on. I thought that was a hilarious comment because that's what it is. It's like the Wild West now. We've got Glen on one side, we've got Mystery Coder on the other side, and we've got all these mods and all this potential and all these things that we're going to be looking at and doing on our iArcade now. Nick is we stream, game on, talking about how he'll be off for the next week doing live streams. And Mike Hawkert says, if Michael is watching, my one request would be to push an update so that as many games as possible can take advantage of the extra stuff on Glen's deck. And that would be huge because right out the gate, we're going to pre-order this thing. And it sounds like September, October when we get them. They're really not going to utilize much of the games we have. So it's not going to have a huge amount of value early on, except for those non-gold owners. The people out there that have the Gen 1, that don't have the USB input, those are going to be the ones that benefit the most early on, instantly, when we get this. A lot of this other stuff we're discussing is all later on down the road. But the control panel and the USB input is instant. That's something that can benefit everyone that's got my version and my cabinet, pretty much immediately. So my next slide is going to be must-have iiRcade games. And I always say iArcade, but for the last week, I don't know why I've been saying iiRcade. There's no, right or wrong way to say it. I've just, for whatever reason, changed how I say it now. I don't know why. So iiRcade must-have games. So these, if you guys are out there watching and you're just wondering my, what I think or what I say are the best games, these are my list of games that I think are must-haves or must-own. And that's going to be R-Type Leo. It looks amazing on the iArcade. It's one of the best, side-scrolling shooting games. You can also play R-Type 1 and R-Type 2, but this one's very different, much more colorful, better graphics, and also, most importantly, easier. So it's a lot of fun just to sit down and play. You don't have to consistently keep, starting over like you do with R-Type 1 and 2. Also, Mystery Encoder is in the house. He says, at Steps Gaming, you can do both. So he's already answering some questions out there. If you guys are in the chat, you have questions about the future and what's happening with modding, he'll be able to tell us. So other games as well is Warrior Blade. This one's a lot of fun. I played this one with PD7 online. We played it all the way through from the beginning to end. We had a ton of fun with it. It's very artistic. It keeps the original aspect ratio, which I really appreciate that. So those little things, you know, the art and the way it was drawn and the way they took the drawings and pretty much put it into the game, you just have to play it, experience it. And it's one of those ones you feel like it's worth paying for. You know, you're giving credit to the developers, you're giving credit to the people that created this game, and it's something you feel good about with this one. Also, Tiger Heli is another one, and this was kind of an unknown for me. This was one game I didn't download till about a month ago, but was Tiger Heli. I kept seeing it on Friday Night Arcade Show. I was like, I got to get this game, try it out. I was lucky enough I had it on my ALU. I played it on there. I instantly loved it on the ALU. I got it on the iArcade, and I like it even more on my iArcade. I do like how quick it is to load too. I can quickly get into this game, play 5-10 minutes, and not spend a lot of time getting it prepped or getting it loaded up. Now, In the Hunt is another really good one. This is like Metal Slug. Graphics are similar to Metal Slug, but I also think this is one of the best looking games that you can get on the iArcade. And it is an original game. It's not a remake, but the graphics hold up pretty well even today. Also, Mayhem Brawler. So this is a modern beat 'em up game, a lot like Streets of Rage 4 or the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All those types of beat 'em up, newer modern ones. This one's very similar to, and it's up there with those games. It's as good as those Streets of Rage 4 and those other beat 'em ups we've been seeing that they're remaking. Now, Space Invaders. This one, I was very lucky. Brooklyn Menace, he promised me a Space Invaders code he had a long time ago, just sitting in an email that he never used. And he got around finally to last week because he knew, I guess this was the end of iArcade, and he was like, I got to get him this code, this product code. And he sent it over to me, and I've already loaded it up. I have Space Invaders running tonight. I think it looks really good on the iArcade. It's got the backgrounds, it's got the bezels, and it all looks really good. This original Space Invaders, and it's one I'm going to play a whole lot. And it's also a leaderboard. If you're chasing the leaderboards, this is a perfect game for that. And I'm happy to hear Mystery Encoder's got some plans on keeping the leaderboards going, so we can continue to still do our score chasing. And Space Invaders is a must-own for that purpose. Also, Moon Patrol. Now, I don't own Moon Patrol. I have it on my ALU. I've heard from many out there that the Moon Patrol on the ALU on CoinOps actually plays better or just as good as the iArcade. So I don't really have a need to get Moon Patrol. But if you do not have an ALU, you don't have an At Games Legends Ultimate, you don't have CoinOps, and you don't have a way of playing it, this is a must-have or a must-own game on the iArcade is Moon Patrol. Fantastic, classic arcade game. Must own. And then last but not least is Wizard of Walls. This is a fantastic iArcade game, must-own game. Modern puzzle game, very similar to Gore for what, I can't even remember the original now. Wizard of War is what it is. I'm sorry, Wizard of War, WOR. It's a remake of that game. And I've never really played Wizard of War. I played it on my ALU. I didn't really like it, but I love Wizard of Walls. Very good game, must own, modern game, puzzle game. Very, very fun. Not like puzzle game, but you're in a maze shooting game is what I would call it. Maze. So now, other games. These are two that I do not own, and I've got a lot of questions on because if I buy Glen's control panel, let's say I get it, I'm going to want to have Operation Wolf, and I'm going to want to have Operation Thunderbolt. Now, let's say tonight I go and I purchase these two games on my cabinet. I can still play them, but I can only play it with the joystick. So I'm very tempted to get these games, but do I rely on Mystery Encoder or what Glen has coming to get these games later on, potentially for, what we're talking about here, where I'm not paying, upfront for them like this? I don't know if it's worth it. I've heard if you play Operation Wolf on the ALU with the send-in light guns, like on a modded PC, it doesn't play as good as it does on the iArcade. But it sounds like Mystery Encoder's got something in the plans to where he's going to open up the entire iArcade library to everyone. So is it really worth going out and spending the $12.99 or whatever price they are today or next week before Wednesday? Is it worth buying it before then, or should I just wait? But if you're a gold owner and you haven't already, get Operation Wolf, get Operation Thunderbolt before Wednesday. These are must-have games if you're a gold owner, and potentially must-have games if you're getting Glen's control panel. So I need to look at this some more, and maybe I need to do a midweek update before Wednesday or on Wednesday to let everyone know, get Operation Wolf, get Operation Thunderbolt, because if you want them to play the way they were meant to be played, this may be the only alternative, is to purchase these games in advance, buy Glen's control panel, or pre-order it and get that in October and November and find out then. So a lot going on. And I know Mystery Encoder's answering a lot of questions in here as well. So it'll be interesting to see what he has said in the chat. Lisa's Retro Lounge says, I'm going to grab them both. So she's going to get both Wolf and Thunderbolt and get them ahead of time before Wednesday, before the store closes, just to make sure they have them and they have an original copy, an actual paid for authentic copy of these two games. So left to be determined if I'm going to do that. Maybe I'll update everyone before Wednesday on what I'm doing with that and if I'm getting those two games. But everything else you saw on that list, on this list here, I own except for Moon Patrol. That's the only one I don't own, and that's only because I can play it better on the @Games Legends Ultimate. But all these others are must-haves, even Moon Patrol on the ALU or the iArcade are must-haves. So next, what I want to get into with you guys are just my closing thoughts. Looks like I'm at 45 minutes. This show may only go like an hour. Normally I go like an hour and 15 minutes, may only go an hour tonight. But I do have some closing thoughts. And these are going to be on starting with the ALU marquee. So I've been keeping up to date, or everyone out there up to date, on my marquee for the @Games Legends Ultimate. And if you guys have seen Brooklyn Menace in the chat, he had promised to send me one of these. Well, last week he got around to actually doing it. He found a box for it. He sent it to me, even paid for the shipping, was nice enough to pay for the shipping. I even offered him money for it, said, hey, will you take some money for this thing? He wouldn't even accept the money. He said, it's a gift. It's yours. Take it, because he's not using it. And he even paid the shipping. I thought that was really cool of him. But this is how it looks. When he sent it to me, it was in like the original box with the original foam, the plastic, all that already, all boxed up nicely. So when it arrived, it was perfect condition. I even peeled off the plastic off the top of it. And I feel like the one he sent me, actually may be a little thicker than the one that comes originally on the @Games Legends Ultimate. So I don't know how that's possible, or if maybe the aftermarket part is thicker, but it does feel like it is a thicker piece of plexi than I had on my original cracked one. But this is how it looks with it installed. Looks really good, was super easy to install, just 6 screws, comes right off. There is a little glue behind it, so you have to kind of pull on it a little, but it comes right off. Screw the new one on, looks great. So I've got like a brand new looking @Games Legends Ultimate now. And Mystery Encoder saying, do the pinner mod. So he's telling me to do it. I've already had one PCB fell on me. They were out of stock on new PCBs through Arcade One Up. I was lucky enough to find a guy who sent me a PCB for Attack from Mars that he wasn't going to use, and I got that for $30, including shipping. But I've got it modded now where it's got more airflow on top of the PCB, the main PCB. So, and I've got it decased now, or uncased. So I'm ready to go for the pinner mod, I guess. I probably should do it. The Marvel tables look okay. The Star Wars tables look all right. I'm really a big fan of the Attack from Mars tables that I already have. They're on a bigger play field. Also, I like that they're real pinball tables. But maybe I'll do it, and I'll let everyone know when I do. Steps Gaming says she did buy Operation Wolf and Thunderbolt with those while they were on sale, so she got them in advance. And I pulled those images of Operation Thunderbolt and Operation Wolf today, and I don't think they're on sale anymore. So you may have gotten them on a deal, and that deal has ended, I guess, as of today. They said it would all end on Wednesday, but those two games are not on sale today. Papa Brad's Gaming is talking about how Brooklyn Menace is legit. He absolutely is. Very legit, really cool, honest, just very friendly and giving person. Brooklyn Menace is one of the best people I've met in this community. Mike Hawker says, I have $200 currently in my cart on iiRcade site. So he's got a lot of games he wants to buy. But I don't have my cab set up at the moment, so I need to do that before I do my final checkout. So he needs to get the cabinet set up, make sure everything's working, and then he's going to pull the trigger on the games. But that's good. You're already prepared. You're already ready to go, Mike. So all you got to do is press purchase, and all your games are going to download. But you have to do that before Wednesday. So I did hear 19K Fox said the games, you'll still be able to purchase them after Wednesday. I don't think that's the case. We heard B Kong say Wednesday, and that's what I heard. So I did let you guys know last Wednesday in closing thoughts, or it was the week before actually, because I had PD7 on last week, that I was going to get my Wii U hooked up to my At Games Legends Ultimate, and I was going to play gun games because I didn't have my Batacera PC set up yet, and I didn't want to buy the send-in light guns quite yet. So I was like, I'm going to just get my gun fix through my Wii, playing my Wii gun games. And it was funny because Kevgret, he had come out with a video on Friday with the exact same thing. So it was perfect. I got to watch his video, and it just encouraged me even more to get this done because I may have put it off even more. Papa Brad's talking about that marquee looking crisp. But this is the gun I have. I don't have the gun he has in his video. I've got this, what you call a zapper. And these things aren't that great. I do not like this zapper. But certain games you have to use the nunchuck for, and it's kind of nice having the nunchuck mounted with the game as well. But I'm going to try hit what he did. But I did get it set up with the ALU. It was super simple. I actually followed the same thing he did in his video just to kind of see what he did. But everything was the same and plugs right in. And of course, you're using the gun game, so you don't have to make sure the control panel works. You just got to get the sensor bar on the game deck or above the monitor. He put his above the monitor. I put mine on the game deck, and it works really good down there. But here's a video of me playing it earlier. You guys may hear it in the background as well playing, but I was playing House of the Dead and House of the Dead 3.
Please be safe, G.
And Goofyfoot saying he noticed a few of the games aren't on sale now. Mystery Encoder says servers are shut down whenever creditors stop paying for it.
G.
The email said Friday for iRcade. But yeah, I was playing this and having a good time with it. House of the Dead 1, House of the Dead 2. And I also have the Resident Evil games as well. So I can play my Resident Evil. I have 2 of them. And then also I made some purchases this week because I want to kind of expand on this setup. Works really good, which is going to be, I purchased this game. I took Kevgret's advice and got Ghost Squad. And I got this one on eBay for $9.63 shipped. I got a really killer deal on it. and it's in perfect condition. It has the case, it has the booklet, and the CD is in perfect shape, no scratches. So $10 for that. And then I also got what he's using, which is the Nyko Perfect Shot. And I didn't want to get a remade version of it. I wanted the original, because he said the trigger on this one's really good. It's really clicky. And with House of the Dead, you don't need the nunchuck. So this is perfect for House of the Dead. And I got it for $21 from eBay used. So I think I got a decent deal on that as well. I kind of enjoy these light gun games through my Wii until I get something better set up. Mike Cockert says he thinks the original plan was to keep the store open until a third party shut it down. But that seems to have changed since Friday, and it's confirmed in the email we received earlier today. Okay, so everything's changed. Things are going to shut down pretty quick. I haven't seen this email that everyone's received, so I don't know the exact date everything's shutting down. I've heard Wednesday is when it's all going to kind of end. If you need to download games, you need to update games, you need to purchase games. I wouldn't do it anytime after Wednesday. Maybe there's new news in regards to that based on this email that some have mentioned in our chat. Nick says the updates can't happen until the servers go down. And maybe we can update. Maybe we can even re-download games we purchased after Wednesday, but I wouldn't risk it. I would just get what you got to get done, kind of wrap everything up before Wednesday. And Brooklyn Menace says he needs to pick that up. And Papa Brad's Gaming says, I used to have one of those. And might be talking about this gun or the game. And Mystery Encoder says, Mike Hawkhertz, they can disable the front end store. And Nix is going to use his send-in for House of the Dead. So yeah, House of the Dead, it sounds like we're going to be able to play that using Glen's control panel, or maybe through Mystery Encoders, in combination with his control panel, or maybe gold owners can just use Mystery Encoder. But we've got all these ways that we're going to be able to play various games that were never meant to be on the iArcade through mods and different, soft modding and things like that. Now, to kind of close out the show, this was just one last thing I wanted to cover in our closing thoughts, because I saw this post on the iArcade community. If you guys aren't a member there, there's 7,500 members in this community. But I thought this post was really cool. It kind of really sets the tone of where we're at right now, and we're really coming to the end of the road for as far as iArcade paid for experience goes. Okay, this guy has pulled this iArcade out of a storage unit, and he's powering it using just a little battery generator, and he's updating or downloading the last games right before it goes dead or goes dark. And this is one cabinet he had in storage. He wasn't even planning on playing it anytime soon. He just got it out of storage real quick, powered it in this way just to get these last few things done. But it kind of got me thinking, what if that generator goes out or it loses power, may brick the whole thing when he's trying to do it that way. But desperate times call for desperate measures. So this is what we get. Brooklyn Menace is saying he has the Nico and all the House of the Dead and Dead Space light gun games on the Wii. I did see that Dead Space light gun game. I'm going to have to check that one out. And then there's the Overkill, I think. House of the Dead. I got to get that one. And I really like getting these games with the cases and the booklets and all that too, because then maybe I got some collector value in some of these games, 10, 20 years from now. Mystery Encoder says, just make it so you can push games to your cab. And Nix is talking about MAME, and Brooklyn Menace is talking about Overkill. I don't have Overkill. I've looked at it on eBay. I could probably get it really cheap, like $5-10. So I probably will. Probably get all the light gun games and just play it on the ALU. I've really been enjoying the experience, though. Even though it's a Wii, and I know it's a Wii, having it on the cabinet, playing it that way is just a lot better than on the TV. And Mystery Encoder is talking about, are you in the MCAP Discord? I'm not on Discord at all, actually. I try to limit my social media. So I'm on Facebook and I'm on YouTube. And those are the only two social media platforms I'm on. And that's just because I try to limit how much I'm taking in. And we've heard from like Apple and Bill Gates and a lot of these uh, really rich, powerful people. They say limit your social media, and I listened and haven't been doing it. So who knows if I'll get on Discord maybe one day. I've had so many people trying to convince me to do it. I've never done it. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on any of these. I'm not on Twitch. Just Facebook. You guys can find me, but you can only find me by my name. I don't even have a BiggyD's Arcade Facebook page. I just have my personal Facebook and I have my YouTube. That's it. And Nix is talking about overkill on PS3 as well. So you get the light gun games on the PS3. That's another option as well, is doing it that way. I just already had all the Wii stuff, but I do want to look at those light gun games on the PS3 because I remember those, what they used to have back then. They have those glowing balls on the end of the gun. Pretty cool, pretty unique stuff back then. Lots of light gun games were released in like the early 2000s for consoles for whatever reason. We don't get a lot of light gun games today for whatever reason. Don't know why. But they're really popular. They're really popular in the home arcade community right now. We have Time Crisis coming from Arcade 1UP. We have the ability to play them on our iiRcade in mod PCs and play them on the At Games Legends Ultimate. But yeah, gun games are a ton of fun. A lot of fun. I'm going to be playing those a lot the way I showed you with the Wii U and the ALU this next few weeks. But I appreciate everyone has joined us tonight. What is this? The 27th Chillin' Chat, I believe. So yeah, we're at 27 of these now. So we've been doing them for a long time. Really moving the channel along. Again, I keep coming back to this at the end of the live streams. I'm very close to 1,000. I was at 919 when I started the stream tonight. So it's slow moving right now with subscribers, but that's okay. I'm fine with just small amounts of growth and just having a good time, having an outlet for you guys to chat and talk home arcades, me being able to share my experiences and what I enjoy, and then giving you my news and my predictions. And I just appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. Or if you're watching tonight, subscribe, get me to 1,000. Then I can become monetized and we can see bigger and better things for this channel. But I'll see everyone soon. Looks like Jason M's joined us. So I wanted to say hi to Jason M. Just join the MCAPS Discord. Be with us. So enough people convinced me maybe I'll do it. But you guys have a great start to the week. I'm sure I'll see many of you guys throughout the live streams this week, and maybe I'll get a video out. But everyone enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Have a great rest of the Father's Day and a good start to next week. I'll see everyone in the next one. Bye-bye.